Hey everyone, Richard with SB Comm here. Today we interviewed a few of our clients to share their journey of how it was to implement technology into their home with us, as well as how the relationship went long term. I hope you enjoy. I asked you to come because your story is very unique.
Yes.
It is very, very unique. Take us down the journey before you even met us. Like, what were you going through? What were your pain points, frustrations? Like, what that felt like?
Okay, so before we met you guys, we moved here. My husband and I moved here in 2019. And we thought we had a house ready. It was not, just like most of those kinds of projects end up being. So we were renting a house, but we were trying to figure out what we wanted to. We wanted to replicate the video setup that we had in Chicago.
Right.
And so the guys, hopefully I'm not getting ahead of myself, but the guys who set up the video or the system in the house, they flew out to Atlanta and they thought that they could, and they could to a certain degree, manage and maintain the system remotely.
Right.
And so we were having some issues. So we started calling, maybe I shouldn't name names, other
integrators.
One is very popular. And so we would call them. And honestly, the word that comes to mind was frustrating, because they looked at the system and they said, not that we don't get it, but we didn't install it, so we can't figure out what's going on here, what's going on there. They would try certain, when like a TV wasn't working or something kind of went a little haywire, and they sent over a person, and he tried his best, but honestly, it made things worse. So whereas like in one area the TV was working, when he left it wasn't. But we stuck with them. We even went to meet them personally. We thought maybe if we bought some chairs from them, that would help them to be more invested in our system, but it was not working out. So not only were we frustrated, we were dissatisfied with the service. Honestly, they just didn't really care. It got down to, we didn't put the system in, so
they don't want to be accountable.
We're not going to be accountable. So sad, too bad, So went back to Matt, who runs a video in Chicago. Yeah, mm-hmm. And they were great. And I knew Matt from when he was working for somebody else, and he said, hey, if I ever start my own business, would you be my customer? Yeah, because he was great. He was always available. So went with them. And so he said, you know what, I don't think we can really service you the way you need to be serviced. So I am going to do some work. I'm going to do some investigating, and I'm going to go ahead and see I'm going to do some research, and I'm going to see who's available, who's out there, and then I'm going to pick one and then introduce you. And if you like this person, now he hadn't come across you guys yet.
That's right.
If you like, this is somebody you think you can work with, great. If not, we'll just start from scratch. And that's the kind of service, because he didn't have to do that. So after a time, I can't remember how long, He said, "Oh, we found this great company. We think it'll really work for you." The guy's name is Rich. It's SB Comm, and I think you were smaller then. I think
I was, yeah. At that time, I was smaller.
yeah, and he said, it's not. You won't get lost in the shuffle like with this other company. So, so he introduced us by phone, I guess, if I can recall.
Yeah, it started by phone, and then we set up the meeting.
Right, set up a meeting. You came out. We talked. You told me your background. Told me about, I think because your wife was working with you at the time. I'm not sure if she still is. And so we had that whole discussion, what your business philosophy was, how you really valued service, and your background in terms of, because you weren't always in Georgia. I think you were out west, right?
Oh, I was out west for a few years.
Okay, and so we talked a little bit about that. And so after we had our meeting, my husband and I said, I think that's the guy. So then I got back to Matt and I said, thanks a lot. I think this is going to work. And we've been with you guys ever since.
Yeah.
So,
which has been a blessing for us too.
Yeah, no, it's been, and the service has been. I'll wait for you to ask some more questions before I go.
Yeah, so I mean, from what I'm hearing from you, like that last straw moment was like, it was the feeling you were getting from another firm was, if you're not buying something from us, we just really don't care to help.
Exactly.
And I know Matt, and he reached out to me and through another person, right? I didn't know Matt. Now, by the way, Matt and I are like real close.
Really?
We talk all the time. Okay. So, but anyway, so we got that introduction. And it sounds like that, the core values that we try to portray as in our team culture is what made you guys say,
yes,
they're the team.
Yes.
That is really, really good. When, outside the core values, when we started that journey, right? I know we had to have that conversation. There were some things that we wanted to make it the SB Comm way, I guess you would call it, right? And that took a little bit of a financial burden to do that. Mm-hmm. But tell me, how did that experience feel like when we engaged on that and then we started servicing even after the fact? Did those values transfer in that experience?
Absolutely. So when you talk about core values, you can use an umbrella term like service, but it's more than service, because if I call you and I say, just like I was saying about this weekend when the theater went out, I can call somebody and they can say, well, hey, Monday is a holiday, so you know what, we'll try to fit you in sometime this week. But and I'm not just saying this, every time I have called off hours, with regular business hours, off hours, I have always gotten not just service, but what comes to mind? Dedication to service, dedication. I'm talking to a friendly person, a friendly voice. Is not just somebody who's on the other end of the line, like an operator, may I help you? And, they're just kind of waiting for you to say whatever it is you have to say so they can get off the phone, and then they can transfer you over to a tech guy or to whomever that, they're going to transfer you to. So your core values, I mean, honestly, and I know I keep saying it, but I mean, you guys have been the best. I tell people about the story about, I don't know, was it 1 or 2 years ago, when we had some people over. We were in the theater because that's the hub of the house. Come down to the theater, watch a movie, whatever. And something was not working. And I think you had a new system in, and that was, it it was being tested, and a lot of times, something happened, and I didn't get my regular call back. So
I do remember that. Yes, I remember that. I called you myself. I was like, I am so sorry that happened.
That was the AI voice. For first, it was a lady, then it was a man. I was like, oh God, this is driving me nuts. But it was a test, and so you did. You said, hey, you know what? If this happens again, call. I'm giving you my personal number. Now I have to say, I probably wouldn't give anybody my personal number, but that just goes to show, again, core values. You're talking about, hey, I want to give you the best service that I can give you. And I talked to someone, again, something happened, and they said, oh, okay, well, we're going to bump it up. I had no idea that they were going to bump it up to you. I literally got you it was like 1:00 in the morning, and it sounded like you were asleep.
I was.
And I was so sorry, because I was like, I did not mean to wake you up.
Yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah. My wife was like, who are you calling? I'm like, I call Pam.
That's just an example of, and I honestly do tell people that story, because like I was mortified, because I thought, oh my God, it's not life and death,
Right.
It's not Dr. Rich, I don't have to, it's not an emergency, you don't have to come over. But you took the call, and, whatever it was, you're like, you tried this, that, and the other thing. If that doesn't work, then, I'll bump it up to probably Chris, and then he'll call you tomorrow. And then he did. And so Chris, he was always, I think when he was in more of that kind of role, he was, always, giving us a call back. In fact, with this issue that we had this past, Monday, I talked to him, after they couldn't figure out what was going on. So, yeah, you're I'm trying to think of something other than another word to describe your core values: dedication, service. I'm going to say familiarity. I'm just throwing words out there. Good vibes, and expertise.
These are all really great words towards our values, and I really truly appreciate that. We say our three uniques for SB Comm Inc. is being dependable, proactive, and personal touch. Does that resonate with the words that you're using?
Absolutely. Again, even when I'm talking to one of the techs, because there's always something going on in our house. I'm not going to say it's the system. I think it's the house. I don't know what it is. but we have a lot of ghosts in the machine. But, and there are a lot of trees too. But, stuff happens relatively frequently. So I've gotten to know some of the texts, and it'll be like, oh, hey Pam, this is Sage, and what's going on? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? So definitely those core values do strike a chord.
I remember that journey of taking it over, because there was some product lines that Matt used. Mm-hmm. That we would have used something different, but we were like, "Hey, look, it ain't broke, don't fix it" mentality. Let's approach it, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Right.
But sounds like the overall experience has been good.
Yes.
And even to the point where we did your other home, right? The theater room in that one as well.
Yeah, the one in College Park. Yes. Yeah, you did that one. We were gonna do, and each house obviously calls for different kinds of things. We didn't want to do anything as extensive as we did in the 1210 house, but the 2060 house came out, set everything up, and see, that's why I said it's 1210 it's the house because we don't have a whole lot of problems at 2060. So, again, could be the trees. I don't know.
Well, that was some things that we found, but it's just like let's nurture it until it's time, right? When the time comes, what, for example, we did 4.0 for Control 4 just launched.
Right.
So there's going to be a moment where we're going to have that crucial conversation.
Right. We've had a couple of those.
We had a few of those, but nothing to the extent of 4.0. 4.0 is going to be a major overhaul. But so, I mean, you gave plenty of words. I typically have, those kind of questions of like, the 3 words and things like that. Circling back to when you were dealing with getting ready to build out 1210, right? And I know Matt was involved. I don't know when he got involved, but one of the key things that I try to find out from clients like yourself is if you can go back, right, and look at that timeline and see the experience you went through and things like that, and then you had a friend that they're going through that same experience you went through. What advice would you give them to make it more seamless?
I would say do your research, and figure out what you want. Because there are so many options. And when you're building out a house, I knew that I wanted something on par with the house that we had in Glencoe, Illinois. And so I understand enough of the tech to be dangerous. So we had a person come to the house and he said, well, we can't do that. So, and I understand. And I always say, we're blessed to be able to do it the way we want to do it. So we have DirecTV and cable. So I wanted DirecTV and cable on one remote, which is the way Matt set it up. That's right. at the house in Glencoe. And so we had somebody come in and he looked at the whole system. He said, I can't do it. He said, I can't do that. That doesn't work. You either have to pick cable or a satellite. Well, no, I don't.
No, you don't.
Because right, because that's the way I had it at the other house. And I said that. I said, well, at the other house I had it like this, and that. And he said, I don't know what they did, but no, I'm telling you that, okay. So as soon as somebody tells you that this is not going to work, when it can work, then okay. Next. Yeah. So then I talked to Matt and he said, okay, Pam, what if we fly to Atlanta and set you up? And so, my husband and I talked about it, and I, again, was shocked that he would even consider that, but he did. He brought, because I knew all the guys too, and so he came, and there were 3 other guys came, and they camped out in our basement, and we told them where the nearest fast food joints were, and they just did what they just did what they had to do. So to get back to your original question, what would I say? Do your research, not only on what you think you might want, but do your research on the people who can give that to you, and pay attention to the, you'll hear me say vibes. I do. My husband and I laugh because I think he has a good spidey sense and I have a good spidey sense. So if I am talking to somebody and I don't, get a good vibe, then why would I want to work with you? Yeah. Because we're going to be probably talking enough, right? So I don't want to. I think we've all had the experience. We're all old enough to have had the experience of working with people that we don't vibe with. I use the word again. That we don't necessarily connect with.
Right.
And life is short and I just don't want to be bothered. So and that was another thing. Like when you came over, you were just really, and Matt said that about you. He said, yeah, I think he's good at what he does. And that's important. He's good at what he does. And I think he's really going to be open and dedicated to servicing you guys. And you guys, you didn't put it in there, but you came in and you did what you needed to do. So, we're going to be your clients for as long as you'll have us.
Well, that's great. I love it. We love that you're our client. I mean, I was joking before. It was like every time we talk and your name comes up or Dave comes up, and you're like, oh yeah, I love them. I absolutely love them. I'm like, yes, they're great clients. So I love that. And just to recap what I heard you say is, not only do the research of what you want, right, the vision, but who are you going to partner with to make that vision come to life?
Right. And that's a good word, partner.
Yeah. And that's because that's how we see it, right? I joke around, we're going to get technology married because, we're going to have to service it. We're going to have to maintain it. There's going to be some things we're going to have crucial conversations about it, because it's just reality. But, now that we've taken it over, we kind of, fixed things here and there. It sounds like things have become more streamlined for you guys. And,
yes.
And then obviously we did your office as well, moving into that and taking over that one.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, that you sure did. And we really have issues with that, So everything works well. I think you set up that white, it looks like a TV.
Oh, the Vibe board. Yeah.
Did you say it's a Vibe?
It's called Vibe. Yeah, VIBE.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to use that, so I don't mess with it.
Yeah, Dave and I think very similar, whiteboardish. So yeah. I was like, you're gonna love the Vibe board.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah. Pam, I really do appreciate you taking the time coming out today. Sharing your unique story, because in our industry, it's called the takeover. And those are tough. Those are tough conversations to have in our industry. Accountability goes a long way. So I'm glad that we took that ball and we ran with it, and it sounds like it's been successful.
You know what? You took that ball and you ran, to the goal, past the. I do watch football, so goalposts. I'm like, what's that? Past the goalpost. Yeah. So no, and like I said, it's been great. And the other thing I just wanted to add too is when you talk about conversations, sometimes you have to have a conversation that you don't want to have, like when one of the video boards, but it's like, we got to replace this, and it's going to cost X money, the X dollars. I know you don't want to hear, but that's it.
Yeah, I use the analogy as like, cars, you buy a brand new car, but we don't think about how do you maintain that vehicle? How much does the oil change cost? How much does it cost to buy new tires? We just buy the vehicle. And, so it's the same concept. And when implementing technology, we have to talk about how we're going to maintain that, right? So that way you get longevity.
Yes.
But eventually you still have to trade it in.
Well, you do. That's right. Because nothing lasts forever.
Nothing lasts forever. So, but no, again, I truly appreciate you sharing your story.
You're welcome.